Nicotine patches have really found their way into the limelight, especially in people with POTS that are dealing with post-viral types. And I'm not against it, but it does make me think about one thing, and I think this bears out actually in the research when you take a look at it. Is number one, in the acute stage, in the beginning phases, or like as a point of trying to create some momentum, nicotine or nicotinic receptors are actually a part of how both parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves communicate. So by introducing more nicotine in the system, we can actually create a little flood on the zone and be able to increase or amplify the signals. This can be pretty cool. But if you think about that in another way, obviously nicotine has been associated with cigarettes for a long time, not dogging it, but you would consider people will notice in the first couple cigarettes, it feels great. But then over time, we kind of desensitize to that, right? So we flood the zone long enough, then the receptors themselves become less sensitive. And that's why people will crave a cigarette and they don't actually feel better, but they will actually feel worse if they don't smoke it, right? So the same logic may apply here, where if we flood that zone, we may get a good outcome for a period of time, but eventually those receptors will start to regulate to the amount of nicotine in the system. And now we've got a new clock of being able to actually well, now we got to solve the underlying problem. So the thing to consider, people that are using it, we see these nice outcomes in the beginning. We get this little, punch of energy. Awesome. Love that for everyone. But then I look at that as now you get a shot clock for trying to figure out, how do I do something to help this last? I got a little shot in the arm. How do I go forward and be able to see if I can solve this problem long term, because I know that nicotine is going to start changing soon. I'm going to have to increase my dose, and away you go. So not talking against it, but also I think there's a nuanced way to look at it to see long term what are the most useful ways to use it.